Am I the asshole for giving my son's new bike away after the prank he pulled on a girl he was friends with? So recently I found out my son, Jacob, 15, pulled an incredibly cruel prank on one of the girls I'll call Ashley, that's in his friend group. I know this girl, she's been to our house and even attended Jacob's birthday party a month ago. She seemed incredibly sweet if not a bit shy. So when my oldest son, Mark, 17, came to me and told me Jacob had asked Ashley out on a date as a prank, I was stunned. I of course asked how he could know this, hoping as any mother would that it wasn't true. But Mark showed me the family tablet we all use, but mostly my sons do, and it seems Jacob forgot to log out of his chatting app, Discord. I read the long series of messages between Jacob and his friends as they mocked Ashley all through this heartless prank. I was speechless. And that's not even getting into how he was talking, like he was some thug and not a 15-year-old living in a gated community. At first I couldn't figure out what to do, or how to proceed. I'll admit that I never once imagined either of my boys would be the type of person to do something like that. But there was no way in hell I was letting this go. So after a day of thought I decided what was going to happen. First things first, he was grounded, for how long I'm not sure. Secondly, I'd gotten Jacob a bike for his birthday but it hadn't arrived until the day previous and I'd planned to give it to him when my parents came to visit since they'd been unable to make his party. But instead of that I showed him I knew about the prank, and told him he was grounded, then I made him carry the new bike out of my bedroom closet into the car before driving to Ashley's house, him crying the whole way. I'd called her parents earlier and explained everything and so once we got there I had him cart it to their front porch and ring the bell. Then in front of me, Ashley, her parents, and God I had him give a sincere apology and gift her the bike. Even I apologized to her, saying I didn't raise my boy this way and what he did was unforgivable. I also called the parents of the other boys who were a part of this little stunt and they all seemed rightfully horrified by their son's involvement. I felt I'd handled this all as best as I could, and my friends agreed. Though once my parents found out that I'd made Jacob give his birthday gift away they said what I did went too far. I still feel like what I did was right but having my parents more or less dogpile on me like this actually made me wonder if how I handled it was too extreme. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole, you did the right thing. If there hadn't been consequences that hit where it hurt, he may not have learned how unacceptable that behavior is. That cruelty is sadly common in kids around that age, but this is the absolute right step towards him becoming a good man. Not the asshole. I would have done the same thing. What he did is not okay. That can damage someone's self-confidence. He can handle losing a gift. He should feel awful for what he's done. Your parents are just grandparents thinking. They aren't seeing the big picture. If he keeps going down that path he will end up with a bad group of kids. Punish him however you want. Boys need to be raised to respect women, not tear them down. As someone who has been pranked like this, it's very refreshing to see you stand up for her and not just excuse away what your son did. I'd also have a long conversation to him about why it wasn't right, but so far I think what you did was right. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I still remember 10+ years later when I was in middle school and one kid told me his friend loved me and seeing how angry his friend got afterwards because liking me was such a gross thing. You 100% did the right thing. Not the asshole. Your son has hopefully learned a lesson here. You're doing tough things a parent needs to do to raise their kids properly. You could have handled this an easy way, but you did it the hard way and the right way. Not the asshole. By making him give her the bike you made sure he will never forget it. As a kid, I got grounded and don't remember why now, but I guarantee you I remember what I did that caused my parents to cancel my birthday party 1 year. The only person that you didn't take into consideration was Ashley. Do you think she wanted that? The bike, the public attention about the prank, she shaming? I understand you had the best intentions in mind, but you overlooked the victim in all of this. And for this, I think you're AITA. Thanks for the award. Not the asshole. You are his parent and have the right to give consequences. Him and his friends being cruel and therefore him losing the bike is a rational consequence. If your parents bought him the bike and you gave it away that would be another discussion, but you bought it. Am I the asshole for sticking to my word and refusing to help my husband with his mom? My F33 mother-in-law fell extremely sick and has been bedridden for 3 months now. Her husband is deceased and her daughter and 2 sons, who didn't even bother to visit, live towns away, so my husband is left to fully take over her care. He wanted to bring her to live with us but I said no and had my reasons for that. One of them is that our home isn't fit for disabled patients, and I already explained this to him, but he chose to pick an argument and say I don't want him to help his mom, but that is not true. I suggested he pays for a carer and said no when he asked that I contribute money with him, and the reason is that his mom has assets he could sell to pay for a carer. I suggested a home care, but he got very offended and said I was nuts to suggest such thing. After shut down all my suggestions, I made it clear I will not be taking any part in his mom's care or be dragged unwillingly in her care. He said okay, then moved in with her now, and I bring him meals occasionally, just doing what I can. The other day, I was in the kitchen reheating his dinner when I heard him shouting for me to come help lift his mom off the floor after she fell off the bed. I went to see what's going on but refused to get involved. He asked what the F I was doing standing by the door and staring. I reminded him that I will be helping out after he shut down other means of help, and he started lashing out at me saying he had no time for my pettiness and insisted I help him lift his mom, but I just turned and walked out, leaving him yelling for my help. I stayed in the kitchen for a few minutes, then he barged in, calling me cruel and unhinged for seeing him and his struggle and refusing to help just to prove a point. I told him he shouldn't act surprised, and he replied that he couldn't help but feel surprised that I was this unhinged and petty. I said I'm not petty, I'm just setting boundaries and sticking to them, and I did not volunteer to be a carer. I'm not qualified and neither is he, but he argued that being sympathetic and helping his family doesn't require any form of qualification. He lectured me about how appalling my behavior was, how I could have helped just a little, then said that his mom will never forget me just standing there and refusing to help. The guilt tripping got me overwhelmed, so I grabbed my stuff and went home. My mom knew and berated me for what I've done. She said I should be proud of my husband for being a stand-up guy who helps his family instead of guilting him and making him feel like he's making a mistake for choosing to support his family. He called me later and cried, saying I hurt him with my behavior and he never expected me to act this way towards him and his loved ones. I felt awful because I'm a sympathetic person and this wasn't my intention. I was just trying to make him understand he doesn't have to carry a weight he cannot bear nor drag me along with it. I'm happy he's willing to help his family, but I don't want to be used if he's okay with being used. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole. You were fine up until refusing to help when a frail, dependent, elderly woman fell, and it became more important to prove your point. You not only were petty but cruel. Wherever point you were trying to make was vaporized after that stunt. You are the asshole. I didn't think you were unreasonable until I read you willing left his mom on the floor. That turned it around real fast. Oh heck yes, you are the asshole. His mother fell and you refused to help her. There is not a scenario in which it's okay for you to leave you mill on the floor. Your husband is right. You're cold and petty and uncaring. You are the asshole. It's not like he asked you to care for her for an entire shift. Or even an hour. Just 30 seconds helping through a semi-emergency situation. I mean, most people would help an elderly woman who fell on the floor even if she were a stranger. And there's no social obligation, connection there, except being a decent fellow human. And you couldn't do that for your own mother-in-law? You are the asshole. She was lying on the floor for F's sake. It was an accident. You help people when they have accidents. You should have helped with that and then going back to your boundaries. The rest of this story is another story, with too much missing info. But you're definitely an asshole and extremely petty to leave her lying on the floor. So, you left an elderly woman on the floor while your husband struggled to take care of his mother to prove a point? You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. It's one thing to avoid helping in the daily care, but another to see someone laying on the floor and refuse to help. I wouldn't even leave a stranger on the ground, much less my mother-in-law, and that was a woman I couldn't stand. You even admit being overwhelmed by guilt, so you already know the answer. You should have helped her, then used the opportunity to point out that she needs more care than you can provide. But instead you proved that not helping a person in need is the hill you and your marriage are willing to die on. You are the asshole. That's disgusting. Your husband is doing what any halfway decent son should do for his parents. Nobody wants their kids to pass them off to some hired stranger in their old age. You are being extremely self-centered and irresponsible. One day you'll be the old lady on the floor, and I hope you remember this. Am I the asshole for not doing anything after discovering that my wife deleted my daughter's novel? Throw away for privacy reasons. I have been married to my wife Hannah, 36, for 2 years. She and my daughter Morgan, 16, don't have a daughter-mother relationship, to be completely transparent here. They both fight often and just don't get along. Morgan used to spend most of her time at her mom's but now is staying with us for school. I remember Hannah telling me about a novel Morgan has been writing on her laptop. She admitted to sneaking and looking at it without Morgan's knowledge, but she praised her writing style and storytelling, so I thought that was a positive thing. Yesterday, I got back home and found Morgan and her mom yelling at Hannah. I asked what was happening and Morgan told me that Hannah deleted her novel. Hannah said that Morgan created a character in the novel using her description and name and making her the villain. Not only that, but she wrote bad words about her. Morgan argued that it was just a character and Hannah had no business snooping on her laptop to begin with. Hannah broke down crying after my ex-wife threatened her. I just watched the three of them fight and did nothing nor said a single word. I stepped out for a minute to get fresh air and moments later, Hannah unloaded on me about how I should have defended her in the argument instead of acting so cowardly. Morgan and her mom also said that I should have done something when Hannah decided to snoop, then delete Morgan's month's worth of work. It just became too much with the three of them berating me and yelling in my face. Morgan went home with her mom and she was crying and refused to speak to me, and Hannah checked into a hotel also refusing to speak to me. The texts from both sides kept coming in, both telling me I should have done something and should have took their side in the argument. I just had to stay out of this one. I was on my feet the entire week working. Both mental and physical health are down the drain and I'm tired of them fighting all the time, then blaming me for my actions, or lack of. Both are expecting me to get involved and do something to fix this, but I haven't done anything yet. Am I the asshole for not getting involved? You are the asshole. Hannah should pay for the recovery services to get the novel back. This will run $1,500 $3,000 and won't guarantee that it is successful. There is no question who the asshole is here, and it's both you and Hannah. The laptop should be powered off and not used until it is sent in for recovery to give it the best chance of succeeding. It just became too much with the three of them berating me and yelling in my face. Well, you aren't going to have a great time here either. You are the asshole. As is Hannah. Your daughter was writing fiction, and probably processing some stuff with that writing. Hannah snooped, then deleted her work. Work which was in no way public or created to hurt Hannah. You are the asshole for not realizing how profoundly Hannah fucked up here and how inappropriate her behavior was. You are the asshole. Your wife had no right to go into your daughter's laptop and delete her personal writing. All she did was prove that your daughter was correct to make her the villain. Both are expecting me to get involved and do something to fix this, but I haven't done anything yet. You're the husband and father, and you've failed at both. Grow a spine. You are the asshole and a coward. You should have shut down your wife snooping the moment she said she did it, as she was invading your daughter's privacy. Your wife is completely in the wrong and you know it, but again, you are a coward for refusing to address her behavior and defend your daughter. This may well be a defining moment in all your relationships that end up with your daughter reducing contact with you, your ex rightfully trashing you to everyone she knows, and your current wife wondering if being with you is worth it. Bravo for this massive screw-up. You are the asshole. Defend your daughter. Ah, your wife was the villain in her story? Wife would have never known had she minded her own business. You are the asshole. Your daughter needed you and you completely bailed on her. Take the computer to a professional. It's possible they can recover the writing. Also, anyone who would treat my daughter like that would be out of my life in a hurry. Bruh. You get one shot to not fuck up a relationship with your daughter. That ship is sailing already and it's leaky. Are you really so dense that you can't see that the way your daughter sees your girlfriend is way more important than the way you do? Maybe take a long look at what you've been blind to. If you had your priorities in the right place, you would have told your girlfriend she wasn't ever in the right for snooping on your daughter's laptop. You are the asshole. Defend your daughter. She has every right to express her creativity, and your girlfriend should stay out of your daughter's property. Am I the asshole for proving my point harshly? My fiancée has been really self-conscious about her weight lately. She accuses me of not being attracted to her, not wanting to sleep with her, etc., which is far from true. She hasn't been interested in these things because she has low self-esteem. I try to build her up and make her feel better, but she constantly just says that I am not attracted to her. Lately she's been poking fun at about my hairline falling back. She kind of swipes at the corner of my hair and makes a cringe face. I am approaching 30 and I've been really self-conscious about my hairline. I don't think it's bad, but she makes me feel worse about it than I normally would. Tonight she did it and I tried to have a serious conversation with her about how bad it is. I'm her opinion. She just kept ignoring me and making the cringe face. So I said, I am trying to be serious because it really hurts my feelings, and she just made the cringe face again. So I replied with, what if I looked at your belly and made that same face? I don't even think she's fat. I just said it to make a point about poking fun at insecurities. So she started crying and went to bed abruptly. I want to go apologize, but I don't really feel like I was in the wrong. I love her and I'm very much attracted to her. I've tried to be sensitive and understanding, but tonight she got to me. I knew it would hurt her feelings because of her state of mind, but I genuinely wasn't calling her fat. I feel like that asshole because I knew it would hurt her feelings, but I feel like my logic is true. Am I the asshole? Edit. I tried to go in the room and have an adult conversation about it. I said, you know I don't think you're overweight, but you're sitting there and actively hurting my feelings and you wouldn't stop. That's not okay. She refused to talk to me. Sleeping on the couch tonight. Edit. I will say, she didn't make me or even ask me to sleep on the couch. I just didn't want to go in the room and continue the argument. It's busy season at work and I just wanted to go to sleep. Hopefully I don't get downvoted, but you're not the asshole. Your fiancé kept talking about, making jokes about something you're self-conscious about. You tried to have a serious conversation about it, but she ignored it and kept doing it. So you gave her a taste of her own medicine. Not the asshole. Her feelings aren't the only ones that matter, and she needs to be capable of having these serious conversations if you're going to be together. If anyone needs to apologize, it's her. She was purposefully being hurtful, and when you tried to give her a real-life example, she turned into a big crybaby. She's acting like a child. NTA. Not the asshole. While you probably could have worded it better, she was extremely disrespectful in ignoring your wishes and continuing to make you feel bad. Not the asshole. Her being upset doesn't mean she can't be wrong. I encourage you to go to her and say, I'm sorry you're upset. I was trying to show you how your behavior was upsetting me by using an example I thought you would understand because I've tried so many times to get you to understand. I might not cry, but it's affecting my self-esteem and I've asked you to stop. It's important you don't let her make this about you making her feel bad for imply she's fat, but also not being dismissive. Yes, I know you're upset right now and so am I. I was trying to show you how you've been making me feel. I've repeatedly asked you to stop doing X. You've dismissed my requests and continued to do it. It's not okay and you need to stop. So not the asshole. You were not harsh. This cringe face business has got to end between people who love each other. It has no place in a real grown-up relationship. High school and gossip TV. Okay. You have nothing to apologize for. Show her this thread. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Get her into therapy. She really needs it.